Photoshop, folks. We're going to work on an image here that we're all going to run up against or see in our careers with the camera or our hobby with the camera, whatever the case may be. We are going to find people that have spots on their face that they're not happy about, but they can't do anything with it, but we can, and we're going to. In this particular assignment, we're going to remove that. I think it's probably the easiest way that I've ever found to do it. I found one that's kind of like this, but I've worked on it a bit myself, and I thought this one was even easier. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make a copy of the background layer. So Control J. Control J is in jump. Now, if you look at this, they are exact copies. They both have the Acne on them. Now we're going to change this into a black and white layer. So if you go to adjustments, and if your adjustments aren't open, go to Window, Adjustments, and this box will pop up with all these different layer adjustments. And we want the one that changes this into grayscale. So we're just going to click on that. So basically it's now black and white layer. The offending color was red, a lot of red all over the place. So I turn that eyeball off, we can see the way it did look, and we have red permeating this face, very dark up here, and some of that right there. So turn that back on, and if we move the red slider to the right, you see that the blemishes are disappearing because most of it was a red area, right? So let's just X this out to get away from it for now. And if we turn that off, you'll see underneath that we have the original red, and we've pretty well taken care of the acne, but we need to get the rest of the image back and keep it in color. So we're going to change the blend mode right here, which right now is normal. Just click on that. Let me bring this up here so you can see this. I'm going to bring my layers up, and I'm going to change this to soft light. So we get our color back, but the red, if you click the eyeball off, the red has been muted. Okay? So now it makes our job easier to pinpoint the blemishes that are there. And I'll show you how we're going to deal with these. Let me move this back into its proper place. We need to go ahead and just drop that down into layer 1. So to do that, we can just hold the Control key down and press E as in echo. And that just blends that down into that layer. So now layer 1 is a lightened version of the original. Now we go over to our tools and we turn on the spot healing brush. You want the brush to be approximately the same size as the blemish. If it's larger, you just go up to the bracket keys, which are right by the letter P. On the left is the reduced size of the brush, and the right bracket key makes the brush bigger. You can also right click and change the size of the brush here. And we want the hardness to be all the way to the left, which means it's 100% soft. So you click up here to turn that off, and we're just going to paint right there, right there. We're just going to kind of go through these kind of quickly because there's no real reason to slow down. Anywhere we see a blemish, we're going to click it. Now we're not going to get real carried away down in here because I'm going to show you another way to fix this a little faster. I'm going to just kind of come down in here. Now some instructions will show you to go through this. The first round you go through and get the bigger stuff. Then you come through on a second round, get more stuff, and so on. Just going to go right through there. What I want to do, I'm going to undo that because it softened the edge of the lips right there a little bit. What I'm going to do is turn on the patch tool, and I'm going to select parts of this and take them to this nice area right here that's pretty much blemish free, and just drop it right on there, and it's going to fix a lot of blemish problems for us. Now the trick is, don't try to do too much at one time. We need for it to fit into that real good area that's there. So here we go through here. Let's go down right in here. And we'll just get the rest of that right here. And we've got room for it up there. We can bring that down. Let's just grab an area like this. And you can keep doing this until you're totally satisfied with the way it looks. Now you've got to remember, we got a few freckles in there, so it's going to put a few freckles in here. If you want to, you can go to this area and add, a lot more freckles. I'm going to do a Control Z on that, Control Alt Z to go back 2 spaces. This area, I think, is probably going to fit our needs a little bit better. And, you don't want to turn this into a super soft area and make it unnatural. All right, so we've really come a long way. Let's look at this is obviously the after look, and if we turn that eyeball off, that's the way it was. Now we've taken a lot of the red out of the skin. If it seems unnatural when you're done, you can click on the new layer icon down here at the bottom, and we can turn on a paintbrush. We might want to sample this red area to bring some of that back. So I'm going to press the letter I. I represents eyeball. I know eyeball isn't spelled that way, but it is I to do the sampling. And what's going on here is the color that it's the top there, or the color that is on top. You see how it's split at the middle? The color that's on top is what we're sampling right now. The color on the bottom of the split is what we sampled just before that. So if I go down to the lips, that's what we're sampling now. The bottom color is what we previously sampled. So we can actually use that red if we want to, that's from the lips. We can use any of these colors that we want to. I'm going to sample right in here, get a nice blush look, and turn my paintbrush back on with the letter B, or go over here to the brush. Again, make sure it's soft, and whatever size you want. I want it to be pretty big because I don't want this to be, let me make this smaller just to show you. If I try to bring this back in like this, we're getting, streaks of colors in different places. So let me do a Control A to select everything. And if I hit backspace, it just wipes out all the color that I put on that layer. So now I can make my brush bigger, paint this in, and I try to keep it pretty much one stroke. Go across the upper part of the lips and over here. Now that's not real natural looking, so we go up here to opacity and drop that down till we're happy. You can see the difference. This is also going to cover up some impurities in the image as well. So you can just control that, make it however dark you feel like it should be. Again, we'll turn these two off. There's the original, and that's the way it looks now. Again, you can bring however much color back into it you want. And you can also turn on color instead of normal. You see how kind of faded and fuzzy and blurred that is right now. And I've got a lot of color in there. If I make that 100%, you see how dark that is and unreal. So if we change that to color, the light areas of the skin show through better, and you can still see the difference we've made. And if we've gone too far, we can drop the opacity even more, and now you see the difference that we've made. Again, you can go further. You can also take that back up 100%, turn on this nice layer mask, the square donut, and now we can paint with black on this layer mask. And let's just take the opacity of the brush way down, and we can kind of remove some of that down there on the chin. See the difference that makes? So now if we turn those two off, there's the way it was, and now that's the way it is. So you can see I wanted to explain using all of these different things so it gives you more control over any spots on somebody's face. You know, some people have more or less acne on their face, and this I think gives you a good deal, a good way to deal with those particular problems. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. I'll be more than glad to help you with any of this. So again, I've shared with you a way to deal with the acne. We simply need to create that copy, change it into a black and white layer, and then we change the blend mode to that to lighten that up to get rid of all that extreme red that we had in the image. And then we use the old spot healing brush tool to get rid of the individual spots, and we use the content aware to get rid of the massive spot area that was on the chin. All right, that's it for now. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.